In this lesson, we're going to start writing our first Python programming code. If you haven't already installed Python and PyCharm, please check out my earlier lessons which show you how to install Python and PyCharm on the Mac and on Windows, and also how to create a Python project within PyCharm and run its code. Today we're going to cover two things: printing to the screen and variables. Printing to the screen is a way of returning information to the user from your program, and also for debugging your program. And variables is a way of adding flexibility and reuse to your code, and you'll be using variables throughout your programming experience. We'll cover the print function now. Now this takes an argument. In this case I'm passing it a string hello, and when you run this you get hello output, and this is just saying that the program is run successfully and exited with code 0. You could also use single quotes when passing strings to functions. So here we'll run the program again, and hello again is been output, but we're using single quotes. Alternatively, a print function can also take integers, such as 22. So when we run this, 22 has been output, as well as floating types, such as 34.456, which is basically numbers with decimal points. There's also a type Boolean, which has two values, either true or false, and these we'll be covering in future lessons when we're looking at if statements and conditions. So a Boolean, for example, if you're saying am I older than 40 years of age or less than or equal to 40 years of age, the result of that kind of condition would be a true or false. And these aren't actually a string, it's an actual type in itself, and case is important. So this is what Boolean true would look like, and a Boolean false would look like. So this is not a string, this is actual type, or Boolean. You can also concatenate output within a print statement. So you could do the following. So you have hello, and then you use the plus sign to concatenate another string to this. So here we'll say hello Paul. So when we run this, you get the hello, and then Paul has been concatenated, basically added to the hello string, and has been output. We'll now cover variables. I'm going to create a variable my name. I'm going to set it to Paul, a string. So this is a string variable, and variables can be viewed as boxes in memory which have values, in this case Paul, and a label, and my name is the label here. And to use the variable you'd be using the label. So to output this I would do the following. When we run this, you get my name Paul has been output. So the variable has been set the value Paul, and then the print statement referring to the label of the variable has output to the screen. You can also reset a variable once it's been created. So I could change this my name variable to the value John, and we can now output this. And when you run this, you see first of all Paul has been output, but then the my name variable has been reset to the value John, and then John's been output. Notice we're using an underscore here. This is entirely optional. You don't have to do this, based a convention with Python, and it's basically the idea is to make the variables a bit more readable by having this space in between. You can also even change the type of a variable, but I wouldn't recommend this because this would be confusing to yourself and other programmers when you look at your code at a later date. I'm just showing this just for your interest. So if I was to do this and run the code, you'll see the variable output first with the value Paul, then John, and then it's been reset to a different type entirely, 22, and that's been output. But I wouldn't recommend doing this. It's best to create a variable and then use it consistently throughout all your code. You can also have integer variables as follows. such as my age here, and we can output that. So you can see 44 has been output, and you can have floating types such as this one here. We have my weight. We can output this. And the Boolean type, as I mentioned previously. So you can have my is married Boolean. Here I'm saying false, as in not married. You can output this. False has been output. And we can also have a true Boolean type. Say is adult, and we'll set this to true. As I mentioned, the case is important here. So when we output this, we see true. So the case is also important with the naming of variables. So for example, if I have a my name variable as follows, and then we create another my name variable, but with a different case on the first letter. These two variables will be considered different variables because the case is important. And if I was to now output this, my name, and to run this code, you see Fred has been output because my name in this case corresponds to the variable with value Fred. The my name variable value John has not been output because it has a lowercase m. You can also concatenate variables as well in output, so you can have the following: my name is, and then concatenate the my name string variable. When we run this, we see my name has been concatenated with the my name variable. In this case, is John. You could further add information to the output as follows: and my age, and I'll create a my age variable, and here we need to use a str function which converts the variable to a string to be consistent with the other print function parameter, as the my age is an integer. So now when we run this, we get my name is concatenated with the my name variable, which has a value John. We then have that concatenated with my age, and then we take the my age variable, which is an integer with value 34, and we convert it to a string, and then concatenate that, and then output that. So in the next lesson, we'll be covering debugging.